What's up, guys? I'm Cells Williams, aka TheSwolefessor, education on health and social well-being. As you guys can see, your boy got a new intro. Shout out to my boy Mark Harris, aka Sir_Marks_a lot on Instagram for the intro. He's also the guy who does most of my fancy, video edits. Whenever I do a fancy video edit or a meat video, he's the one who's doing it. You guys saw the new little intro with the blacksmith craftsmanship logo, the same one that's on the shirt that I'm wearing. And I say all that to, some like little commercial nod to let you guys know that the second launch of the craftsmanship merch is officially available. I'll have the link in the description box down below to the Instagram post detailing how you can order yours, because the pre-order is available. It's been open for a few days now, so if you're watching this video, it'll still be open up until this upcoming Sunday, 11:59 p.m. Central. That's when it'll be closed out, and then all the orders will be placed and will be shipped out. Then we've got this shirt, the Blacksmith's badge T-shirt, the OG hashtag craftsmanship shirt, and then the craftsmanship on full display tank top, which you guys will be seeing during this video, so I'll probably be rocking that at some point during this video as well. But yeah, just wanted to give that quick little announcement. Now, with that being said, let's get into what this video is actually about. So today is actually Wednesday. It's a couple days after my meet. You guys saw, you saw my last video, you saw the meet recap. First of all, I just want to say thank you so much just for all the love, man, on the comments on that YouTube video, as well as just the Instagram meet recap post, all the love and the congrats and the support that I got from you guys. It just means so much to me. And it's just really cool because you guys know that this channel, first and foremost, is informative, health, fitness, social well-being. It's supposed to be for the benefit of you guys. And even with my training videos and training footage, I try to make sure that's informative, that I'm explaining the why behind what I'm doing and helping you guys learn from the do's and don'ts of what I do and what I realize and learn with my own training, so that you guys can go out there and benefit yourselves. But with that being said, obviously, my meet videos, those are just for me, those are about me, to kind of show what I can do. It's my day to kind of just focus on being a lifter, versus kind of being more informative for you guys, or the fact that as a coach, full-time coach and trainer, my focus is always on my clients first and foremost. I'm the type of dude where I can be building up to a top set, and if I see a client reach out to me via Instagram or whatever, and they need help or they need me to call them real quick, I'm gonna drop what I'm doing and do that for them, because that's just my personality. My clients come first. That's how I make my living, and I want to see my clients succeed more than anything else. Not that that gives me a reason to shortchange my own training, because I don't. And I'm fortunate enough with working for myself full time. I have a lot of control of my own schedule and when I eat and sleep, to where I actually can optimize and maximize my training variables pretty well. But meet days are the days where it really is just about me. All my clients are always cool. They don't flood me with videos, even if they're training. They always hit me up afterwards hey, coach, focus on your meet. So I appreciate all of you guys. Mad love for that. But it's just so cool that even when it is just me focusing on me and my lifting and my training, that you guys still get something from it, that you get motivated. The amount of y'all who said that third squad motivated you and got you hyped to kill your own training or kill your next upcoming meet, it means the world to me that it has that type of impact on you. So thank you guys so much for the love on that. With that being said, like I said, my meet was Sunday. Today is Wednesday. And I actually got back in the gym on Tuesday, which was yesterday. I'll be showing you guys training footage from that day at some point during this video. But basically, yeah, so I rested Monday. I woke up Monday 163.5 pounds. And that's just because I really didn't eat much on meet day. You guys know that I couldn't really replenish during the meet. Couldn't really keep anything down other than water. And then even after the meet, my appetite just did not come back. It kind of took me a while for the effects of the water cut to kind of wear off. But then I started eating again normally on Monday. Woke up Monday 103.4 pounds. Yesterday was Tuesday, woke up 164.5 pounds, and then today I woke up 165.6 pounds on Wednesday. So right now my first initial goal is just getting back to the weight I was at before the water cut, before I cut 7 pounds of the water cut, which like I said was 170 pounds. And then from there I'm going to start, actually gradually building into the into the 83 kg weight class, as this last meet was my last meet as a 74 kg lifter, 163 pounds. And pretty much what I want to do is kind of use this first part of the video to kind of talk to you guys about exactly why it is that I'm moving up, so you guys have a little bit more clarity, and try to make it informative in a way where hopefully this gives you guys some things to think about in terms of, hey, should I stay in the weight class that I'm in? Am I potentially nerfing my progress by staying in the weight class that I'm in? Everything like that. So first of all, let me just be very clear and just get this out the way. If you're already sitting at the bottom of your current weight class, you're in the middle of it, you're nowhere near the top of it, then by all means stay where you are. Keep building, keep progressing, and maximize your body composition, your strength, and potential in that weight class. That's awesome. I think the biggest issue for a lot of people is, if we're being honest, most people, if you try to stay in a certain weight class, it's usually because we feel more competitive within that weight class, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. You guys know that I'm big on competition. I'm not one of these guys like, oh, competition doesn't matter, just focus on you, do you. I do think that doing you should be the #1 priority of powerlifting. I think your own personal progression should be the #1 priority. But rather than ignoring competition, I think you should use competition to fuel yourself. Like, compete with those who are near you in strength to push you to be the best version of yourself that you can be. That's how I kind of look at it, right? But I think the issue is that a lot of people have this idea of being competitive when, I don't want to say when they're really not, but more so like, okay, I'll put it this way. If you're not even in the top 50 in your weight class, like for example, in the 74 kg weight class, I think it's like 1,000 something lifters in the USAPL. And I believe from 2019 this past year, I was ranked like 40, almost like 45, 46, something like that, right? So I'll put it this way. If you're not even like in the top 50, but you're like kind of trying to fight to stay in a weight class because you feel like, oh, I want to be more competitive, that's ridiculous. At the end of the day, I'm sorry, nobody even cares about number 46. Nobody even really cares about top 50. At the end of the day, most people care about like the top 10, right? And if we're being real when it comes to like, you know, like why people care about kind of their ranking, it is for recognition, it is kind of for clout, so to say, to be seen in a certain light. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's part of a competitive endeavor. But if it was like, some people would say like, oh no, it's just about overall progression, like going up rank to rank to rank. Well, yeah, but that's also about like just getting stronger and bigger. I think your main goal should be getting stronger and bigger. Like, it's one thing if you're progressing year after year, your ranks boosting and getting higher. That's awesome. That's dope. But what I'm saying is, if you're in the situation that I'm in, being that I am no longer at the bottom of the weight class. When I first started powerlifting at the end of 2015, I sat around like, you know, the low to mid 150, so I was like at the bottom of the 74 kg weight class. But over the years, I've built strength, I've built mass, I've gotten bigger, and now I'm at this point, like I said, I walk around like 170 pounds and fairly lean, like 170 pounds, around probably like, you know, 11-12% body fat. Last time I got a scan was around 12%. I'm probably like around there or maybe a little bit lower just due to some body recompositioning. And for me, like I said, this past meet was I was planning on this past meet to be my last meet of 74 kg regardless of like what the result was going to be. And the fact that it was my first time having to do an actual water cut and seeing how I kind of responded to that just kind of confirmed my decision even more to want to move up. And basically, here's what the thing is, guys. For me personally, one, as a content creator, right, my ranking in a weight class does not matter. Like I said, most of you guys watch me for informative content, to learn more about how you can better yourself as a lifter, better yourself as a coach, so on and so forth. And what matters more is just me continuing to get stronger, to get bigger, to progress more, to have more experiences that I can share with you guys and learn from, to give you guys more information. So with that being the case, allowing myself to continue to build, to continue to get bigger, to continue to get stronger at a faster, more efficient rate, rather than trying to like stall myself and keep water cutting and keep kind of like, you know, pulling back on how much I can eat and how much work I can do just to stay in this weight class. Just for me as a content creator, doesn't make any sense. As a lifter, I got into powerlifting to get as big and strong as possible. That is what I've always cared about, more so than just like, you know, ranking or anything like that. Like, I care about competition, and for me, my competitive mindset's not changing. I'm still going to look at those who are near me in strength and compete with them, regardless of what weight class, but especially like, you know, in the same weight class, right, or who are walking around the same weight, just because that's fun for me. It makes it more fun for me. But my goal is to get as big, as strong as possible. Not in the sense I'm just gonna like force feed myself and like get overweight or obese for no reason. I don't believe in necessarily doing that. But I'm taking the time. I do believe though in taking the time to keep building gradually and steadily, trying to add more size, add more mass, and that's going to eventually require me, which it is now, to move up into the next weight class if I want to keep doing that. Like, if walking around 170 pounds, that gives me potentially like 15 to 20 more pounds to gain in the long term to really fill out and build into like the 83 kg class, which is like, you know, 183 pounds. But even if I get to close to like 190 pounds way down the line, I will be able to it'll be way easier to water cut from 190 to 183, being heavier, having more mass, and being at a higher body fat percentage than what it is to cut from like a lean 170 to 163. And the fact is, like, losing 7 pounds at this current body weight is a big percentage of my total weight compared to what it'd be if I heavier, right? And there's a big part of like, you know, what happened with the water cut, in my opinion. Part of it, even though like I said I didn't do anything crazy aggressive, it's just the fact that as lean as I am, and the fact it's my first time doing it, my body just didn't respond really well to it. Not to say that, like, you know, everyone who's lean, you can't water cut. That's not the case. There's lots of lean people who do, and they're fine. How you respond to water cuts kind of based upon you as an individual. But knowing that in general, the leaner you are, the lighter you are, the harder that water cut is probably going to be on you. And then from the standpoint of, like I said, being a coach, it's the fact that like having more experience, continuing to get stronger, continuing to better myself as a lifter just helps me that much more as a coach. And I can't do that if I'm still kind of like stalling or nerfing myself just to kind of stay in this weight class. And I feel like, once again, the issue is people get so caught up on this idea of like being competitive. Obviously, if I go up to 83 kg weight class, I'm not gonna be anywhere near as competitive as what I am right now as 74 kg. But in my opinion, if you're like not in the top 10, or you're not knocking on the door of being in the top 10, like maybe top 20, top 15, and you don't see yourself getting to that point within the next, like, you know, let's say 2 to 3 years, then to me, like, it's not worth stalling yourself if you're sitting at the top of the weight class. It's one thing if you're sitting at the top of the weight class, you have a bunch of unnecessary fat on you, and you can like cut that down and kind of build how to recomp and build back up, that's fine. But if you're in my specific scenario where, hey, you know your body naturally is getting to that point where it wants to sit heavier, you're not overweight or obese, you don't have a whole bunch of necessary body fat on you, like you have a nice gradual composition, then I think it's going to be more important for you to keep building, especially in the long term. It's like, I think the problem is a lot of power lifters get so caught up on their short-term goals, they don't treat like a long-term. That's one thing that I respect a lot about bodybuilders. My coach Brad and I talk about this all the time. They'll take time where they just build for 3 years, 3 to 5 years before they come back and get back on stage again, so they have the time to build more quality muscle mass before like getting lean again and stepping on stage. And I feel like for powerlifters, there's nothing wrong with taking that same type of approach, taking the time to just really build more mass, which is going to be more strength. Because we have to remember, guys, that strength is ultimately going to be a result of more muscle mass. Like after, like, you know, neurological adaptations take place, you got your technique in on point and everything like that. The strength you're going to gain from that point is going to come from doing more workload over time, building more muscle over time, and that's going to allow you to add more weight to the bar over time. That's how that works, right? The whole cycle of, like, you know, total workload and progressive overload going in that way. So for me, the fact that I know I will be able to do more if I let myself build makes it worth it. Even if I one day decide, you know what, I want to come back down to 74 kgs, if I just take the time to build overall more quality muscle mass and size, and then maybe come back down, like cut some of the fat down and then decide to water cut, it'll still be more beneficial. I'm really not too concerned with that. I'm pretty set on just gradually taking my time and building into the 83s over time. But yeah, that's pretty much why I'm doing it, guys. I care about progression. I care about getting bigger. I care about getting stronger. And it just, since I'm not knocking on the door of the top 10, or don't see myself being like in the top 10, making prime time for the 74s in the next even 2 to 3 years, especially when you got all these young, like even younger dudes, like, you know, in the teens who are coming up, who are like, you know, just freaks and honestly built better for this. I mean, that's something you guys have to keep in mind. Like, I'm 5'7", but that's pretty tall as a 74 kg, and I'm just a lankier individual as a whole. I am not, compared to even someone like my client and my boy Michael, who's like, you know, just an inch shorter than me, and like, you know, but has shorter arms, slightly shorter legs. Like, he's able to fill out his frame more at this weight class. For me, if I want to fill out my frame more, it's going to require me to simply go up a weight class, and that's what I'm going to do, and that's what I'm excited to do, and kind of take you guys, you know, on that journey with me, as far as like the training videos kind of being focused on like what I'm doing programming wise and nutrition wise to kind of build everything off. Right now, I'm currently taking in 3,700 calories. That's where I've been eating the past 16 weeks, 3,700 to 4,000, but mostly 3,700 calories on like during the weekdays, and I'll have my specific macros on screen so you guys can see that's what I'm going to be doing, just to get back to that 170 range. And then after that, when I make the adjustments, deciding how much more I'm going to be eating to kind of build and exactly what rate of weight gain I want a month, then I'll be updating you guys with that. But yeah, as far as training, like I said, took Monday off. Obviously, compete on Sunday, took Monday off. And then Tuesday, which was yesterday, we got right back into it with just a nice, easy upper body workout. As we get, like, when we start the official, like, really back on training on Saturday, I'll show you guys through each day and kind of what the structure is. But for yesterday, it was kind of like just a high volume bench focused day. So I'll just pop up right now with everything that I did as far as yesterday's training. See, everything felt really, really good, and that is what the structure of my Tuesday bench sessions are going to be like. We're back to the usual like 6-day split that we were doing all the way leading up into my last meet, where Saturday is my primary squat and like lighter secondary like deadlift based day. Sunday is my primary heavy bench day. Monday, secondary squat day. Tuesday, secondary bench day, which you guys just saw kind of what the format's going to look like. Usually I'll have some type of top set, then back downs, but we're still kind of like just easing back into things after the meet. So I just had 3 sets of 9 at a prescribed like RPE. And then Wednesday, which is today, is my church area squat day. So you guys will kind of see what that looks like today, along with, it will usually be my primary deadlift day. I won't be doing any heavy deadlifts today, just some barbell RDLs, just to give my body more of a break. And then Thursdays are my tertiary bench day, which I'll probably be showing you guys during this video as well. And yeah, like I said, I'll be taking you through what each structure day looks like when we officially get that started on Saturday. Right now, it's just kind of like some workouts to keep the, keep moving, keep the fitness where we want. But yeah, that's pretty much it in terms of like, exactly why I'm moving up. And I'll kind of be talking to you guys more about what I'm hoping, expecting to kind of get out of it as we go through the rest of this video. But for right now, let's head to the gym. All right, guys, hopping in for a voiceover. You're about to see clips from my workout on Wednesday as well as Thursday. And don't worry, like I said, I'm going to be taking you guys through raw versions of each of the days on my new training split, what that looks like. I'm also going to be answering some questions I'm sure you guys are going to have, like, hey, bro, we see that you're in heels right now for these squats. What's up with that? Didn't realize you went back to heels. I'll be explaining all of that. But like I said, I kind of want to use the remainder of this video as these clips are playing to tell you guys pretty much, like I said, what I'm expecting to kind of get out of moving up a weight class and give you a little bit more insight into what my game plan is with it. Like I said, I'll be giving you guys my specific calories and macros as far as like the breakdown of what I'm doing once I get back to 170 and start building up from there. What I can tell you already is that my plan is to do this kind of like in a gradual way, not so slow to where there's pretty much no point in even moving up a weight class, but not so fast to where I'm just putting on a whole bunch of unnecessary fat. Like I'm not trying to like eat my way into the weight class, because the whole purpose of this is I'm trying to get bigger muscularly, and that's what's going to ultimately lead to more strength, as well as just gaining a little bit of body fat. Obviously going to help with recovery and things like that. So I'm not expecting to like put on going from 74 kg to 83. I'm not expecting to put on like 9 kilograms of just total pure lean muscle mass, not by any means. But what I'm going to try to do is gain anywhere from like no less than half a pound, but closer to like a pound, maybe even a pound and a half a month. And in doing so, I feel like that's gaining weight at steadily enough of a rate to where, like I said, it's worth actually moving up a weight class, but it's not so fast to where I'm just putting on like nothing but fat. It kind of ensures if I'm close to that, like that 0.5 to 1 pound per month, then that's going to be like a lot of good muscle mass to put on in the long term. So this is like a long-term kind of goal for me, in the sense of I plan on building up to the top of the weight class over time. It's going to take me at least like a year, a little bit over that, to sit at the top where I'm closer to like 180, 183 pounds. And then beyond that, decide if I want to keep building and sit around even heavier, and then just kind of like cut down a little bit for my meets, because it'll be a lot easier to do so from that heavier body weight, as I stated. Now, with that being said, it's one of these things where I'm at the predicament of like, okay, well, am I still gonna do Raw Nationals? I'm already qualified as a 74, but I'd have to do another meet, hit the, I believe it's 1,503 pound total to qualify for Raw Nats as an 83. And the answer is gonna be that, like, if Brad and I decide that my strength gets to such a point before Raw Nats comes up where we kind of just walk in and hit that total comfortably, then yeah, sure, I'll probably do it. But if not, I'm actually totally fine with sitting out for Raw Nationals this year. I'm still going to be there, of course, because I have lots of clients who will be doing it. I'm going to be there to coach and handle them. But like I said, I'm looking at all this, guys, like with kind of long-term, big picture thinking. Once again, as I stated earlier, I feel like too many powerlifters get so caught up on just the short term, or wanting to feel like, they want to progress so quickly, but they don't understand that this is a long-term game. And that you have to, when you're making a lot of these decisions, you have to think about it from a long-term perspective. Like I said, I understand that initially I will not be as competitive as an 83 as what I was at 74. But to me, since my main goal should be my own personal progression, it's like I should not limit myself or limit my options based upon what everyone else is doing. Meaning, regardless of like, oh, but there's some 74s who are totaling this much and they didn't have to go up a weight class, or hey, there's some 66s who are totaling this much and they didn't have to go a weight class. It's one of these things where it's like, yeah, but that's them. The simple hard reality, guys, that most people still don't seem to want to fully accept is that your potential in powerlifting is set by two things. One, most majorly, I'd say like, 70 to 80% is your genetics ultimately. And that the remaining percent of it is just going to be like how smart you are with your training, your recovery, everything like that. So for me, because I understand that, I'm not so worried or caught up in what other people are doing. Like, their circumstances are different, their genetics are different. And I know that for me, with where I'm at currently, if I want to progress at a faster rate, not to say I'm not happy with the progression I've made. I've done 8 meets as a 74 kg lifter. I've consistently progressed from meet to meet in the USAPL. And I know that I could still make more progression if I continue to try to stay at this weight class, but it's just going to be a lot slower than what I'm personally happy with, and a lot harder than what I want it to be if I continue to like nerf myself from eating more and filling out my frame more and building more and letting myself get heavier just to stay in this weight class. So that's why for me, it's about, okay, what's going to be best for me long term? Even from a competitive standpoint, it's like, if I really take the time to build, then yeah, not this year obviously, but in the next 1, 2, 3 years, where am I going to be? Where can my strength potentially be relative to where it'd be if I just try to force myself to stay in this weight class for the next 1, 2, 3 years? That's kind of how I'm looking at it, and that's my mindset with it, and that's the mindset that I think everyone should take with it. Even those who are in like the top 10, it's gonna, like I said, it's gonna get to a point where for some of them, they probably will eventually be like, hey, you know what, these water cuts are getting harder. Hey, maintaining weight here isn't worth it. It's time for me to move up. And like my boy Marcus, he's someone who did his last 83 kg meet in prime time this past nationals, but now he's moved up because he realized, hey, at my height and what I'm weighing, like, these cuts are getting harder, so I'm moving up. Even like say my client Michael, he will probably eventually as well get to a point where it's like, hey, you know what, I've done what I want to do 74, it's time to move up. That's just kind of the natural progression of things. If you're getting stronger, you're getting bigger, and therefore the weight's gonna keep going up. Like I said, not that you have to be in a rush. For those of you who are at the bottom or the middle of your weight class, not saying to just start force feeding yourself. Do what I did. Like I said, I started as a 74 at the end of 2015, and just now in 2020 am moving up because I let myself build up gradually to ensure that the mass I was putting on was lean mass. Like I said, I went from being around walking around 9 to 10% body fat to now walking around like 12% body fat, but obviously heavier, going from being like in the mid 150s to like sitting around 170. So yeah, that's kind of my mindset with all of it, guys. And what I'm expecting to get out of it is just faster progression. I want to break into the 1500s. I want to get to the point where I'm like, pulling in the 6s, where I'm squatting well in the mid 5s, where I'm benching closer to 400. Those are kind of like my initial goals. And to just keep building from there, man. I'm all about contentment and growth. I'm all about constantly progressing, constantly trying to perfect my craft. And that's why I'm doing this, because I just know it's going to be better for me in the long term, regardless if I'm not as quote unquote competitive right now. And like I said, for me, powerlifting is about getting big and strong, man. That's what's fun about it. If I'm not progressing at the rate I want, then who cares how competitive I am? It's just not as fun. So yeah, that's pretty much my mindset with it. So hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully you guys get something out of it. Like I said, the new craftsmanship launch is available until 11:59 this upcoming Sunday. So I think you guys will still have about like 24 hours from the time this video is released to do that, depending on if I release it Friday or Saturday. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead and leave a comment down below. Let me know what you did. If you're not, leave a comment down below. Let me know what I can do to get better. Like the video, share, subscribe. Keep it simple, specific, scientific, and I'll catch you guys later.